questions from all of you.
Rita.
So as Jared very politely said, the culture problem is a lot bigger than he sort of insinuated. So I'd really love for James and Greg for you guys to speak to change management a little bit more, because I think overall the implementation when it comes to, you know, how we're prioritizing, which departments we're choosing, we're using a lot of, you know, business value add metrics that we present, but we are still, there's a huge gap in being able to describe that to people and bring them along with the teaching and coaching aspects of it. So I'd really love for you guys to speak to what you've done in the past, change management wise, how you integrate teaching and coaching within it, because tech tools, if you have users that are multi-generational and multi-learning, you know, ways that they do it, so I'd love for you guys to speak to that.
Sure. I think creating a continuous feedback loop with the individual, and I 100% agree and know where you're coming from, Maria, in terms of the challenges associated with not just different technical capabilities and different visions, but also personalities as well, right? So being able to move the needle individually with different folks. Number one, you need executive support. You need the champions from your executive team as a initiative internally to be able to demonstrate success and to be able to move the needle forward individually with each of your individual business lines, departments, et cetera. So I think taking that crawl, walk, run approach, understanding the pain points that a particular individual has, or what the new metrics and KPIs that you're looking to develop, and going through a coaching session with them, getting their feedback, soliciting their feedback. The constant communication in that feedback loop is, I think, one of the areas that can't be understated, right? You need to be able to continue to enhance that relationship and demonstrate that you're there to help, that you're there to help them succeed.
So my 2 cents will be a little bit different. I've never run a technology organization. The company that I started back in 2009 had a huge data component, and it was basically benchmarking execution of foreign exchange trades. A lot of data ingestion, a lot of taxonomy, a lot of challenges. We had a very small team that the mission was extraordinarily clear, so we didn't have to deal with changing from a legacy mindset. One thing that I've seen that has helped from what I hear from clients, so not from my first personal experience, but what I hear from clients, is that training aspect, right? It's one thing too, because I think it's, hey, this isn't broken. It may be slow, but it works. The fear factor, I grew up in the Boston area. Nobody in technology wants the next big dig, right? Let's be extraordinarily clear, right? That is the analogy I like to use because it resonates probably with everyone in this room. But the key thing is, I think, if we're taking some of the tidbits of what we've learned here to show, first of all, change is essential now from what we talked about at the beginning, right? People have to recognize that business viability is essential. It's exactly why we're doing this, right? We've seen the change. I won't go through the horror stories again. But I think it's then the education of how the ease of use of the platform, right? Not just Snowflake per se, but the idea that, is it simple to use? Show training, we have resources that we help people with. The one thing I will go back to is that, most people are used to dealing with data in Excel. So one of the things that we have, and I think that's worked extraordinarily well, is we work with partners, loads of partners, but let's be clear, one of them is Sigma, an Excel interface that scales on top of your corpus of data, right? And again, I'm not just here to pitch them. What I think is fantastic is not changing what someone is used to. We are not trying to change your world, right? I'm not asking you to, if you live in the South Shore, I'm not trying to ask you to walk to work across the water, okay? You can still take the ferry or you can still drive up terrible Route 3, right? The reality is I think what you're doing is saying, let's use the tools that you're used to. The interface is exactly the same. We are trying to give you the horsepower to scale underneath it. So if some of that may help, but I think, again, with that champion connectivity point and showing them, I'm not trying to take your job, but would you like to move into this higher order, move up the information value chain, provide more business value, while meeting the business SLAs? Most of the feedback that I've heard from data teams, both from product and data analytics teams that get to cross that business to technology chasm at many banks, is that their biggest fear is that they've not been able to meet the SLA of the business and meet their rising challenge. Okay, now I'm trying to give you tools to do so. Your job is only enhanced. Whether you believe me or not, and try to simplify the process of the ease of use of the tools, and whether they're used to using Tableau or a different interface. We have a thing called Streamlit. lots of different ways to utilize it. That's something I think that may help.